So where are we going now? Let's go over to Australia, no less. Joining us now from Melbourne is Sky News Australia reporter Georgia Simpson in Melbourne. A very good evening, it looks like, to you, Georgia. Tell me, how have Australians been preparing to celebrate the King's coronation down under?
Well, I think it really depends what state you live in. As far as official events go, in Queensland, which is in the northern part of the country, Government House was open in Brisbane today, and there were crowds of thousands of people there, people just spilling into the grounds, really keen to check out the Government House and have a picnic there. Here in Melbourne, Government House was also open to the public here today, but there were nowhere near the numbers that was experienced in Queensland. It was quite sort of a more modest affair. When I've been speaking to people out on the streets today, there are people who are really excited about this momentous occasion in history, and they will be holding their own sort of viewing parties at home with friends and family. But then as well, I did speak to people who didn't even know that the coronation was happening today. So it really was quite mixed across the board. People very excited for this historical moment, but then also people who were quite disengaged across the board as well.
Well, thank you very much indeed. Obviously, very mixed reactions over there. Just in terms of popularity, one of my best friends is Australia. He's actually flown all the way to the UK to ensure that he is here for the coronation. Popularity in Australia, is it rather like we were talking here, where older people tend to like the royal family and it's the younger ones that are probably more reticent?
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. It definitely appears to be a generational thing here in Australia. We know that people right across the generational divide loved the Queen, really respected her. We're very sorry when she died. As for King Charles, the older generation are really keen to give him a chance to see what he can do. But among the younger generation, the conversation of around whether or not we should become a republic has sort of bubbled to the surface over the last few days. I was speaking to the Monarchist League of Australia. They have about 55,000 members here in Australia, and they interestingly said that 40% of those members were under the age of 40. So look, I think people do really like the royal family here in Australia, but it is very much a generational thing. I think if you were to ask people, you know, which member of the royal family was their favourite, you'd get some enthusiastic answers. I think people really loved Prince Louis, particularly when they saw his antics at the Queen's Jubilee. I think Australians just fell in love with that sort of cheeky sense of humour, and there were a lot of people that could empathise with Kate as a mother trying to control a young child. Prince William and Princess Kate, very popular. King Charles, a bit unsure. People, I think, are keen to give him a go. The latest polling was done late last year by Royal Morgan as to whether or not Australians support the monarchy, and overwhelmingly the majority of Australians do. So 60% of Australians want the monarchy, whereas 40% are keen for a republic. So like you said, very much a generational thing across the board.
Georgia, thank you very much indeed. That's Georgia Simpson there from Sky News Australia.